Basically what we're going to do today, I'm going to let Miss Lennon do most of the talking if you have questions for her, even though she is ill. But I do have some things I want to share just in general before we get started. I want to start off by letting everybody know that the Booster-thon was a great success. I know there was a lot of information that went out about this. It's raised for us over $35,000 so far, and money's still continuing to come in. So that has been a great success for the school. In addition to the kids really enjoying it, so I thought that was wonderful. So that'll be something we'll be continuing next year. Beyond that, we've had quite a busy few weeks in general. Obviously, one of the huge topics that I would gather you'll end up talking to Miss Lennon about is obviously summative testing. Which is the testing that the kids started field testing last week for us. I think our school did a really good job of kind of expediting the process. The problem that we're running into is the fact that we have to do a field test, then the EOGs, and then the actual summative test all in such a short period of time. And if you haven't been paying attention to what that is, starting this year, they are now testing our students in all areas. So, for instance, in 5th grade, they will be adding a social studies test to their program. In the past, the state has tested reading, math, and science in 5th grade. Now there will be a school system, CMS, social studies test. This will allow us, as we get ready to prepare for the new model of teacher evaluation, to allow us to gauge growth in regard to how kids are performing in social studies. So in 5th grade, they'll be adding 1 exam. In 4th grade, they'll be adding 2, science and social studies. So when they take their summatives at the end of the year, they'll take a science and a social studies test this year. We're not doing them until after the end of grade tests. The field test, they took 1 of them. They either took science or social studies, because the field test is designed only to test the questions. Didn't count for anything. It was more looking at validity of question design. It was allowing them to gauge the appropriateness of the materials. And it was tough. At the end, will they take both? They will take science and social studies. Yes. But it's after EOGs. The way we've set it up is it's after the end of grade test. So that's 4th grade. 3rd grade will also be the same, science and social studies. K2 obviously is going to have the biggest impact. They have to take 4 tests now. Before they only took end-of-year tests in math and reading, but it was just internal stuff. Now they're going to take actual 4 summative exams in K2. They're about 30 minutes each, based on how our assistants have pulled them off, and they're one-on-one. So the big issue is time, and every school's kind of doing it a little bit differently. What we've done, or what we did for the field test, was we took all of our assistants, all 13 of them, and dropped them into a class all at the same time, and we assessed the entire class within, with 1 block of time. Now that worked for the field test because they were only taking 1. When they take 4 of them, it's going to make it a little more complicated, because you have 13 assistants going in. Say you have 23 students in a classroom, it's going to take approximately, I guess it would be almost 2 hours per child.
There's only going to be 10 tasks versus 30.
Yeah. So it'll be a little bit shorter than what we practice. So it'll be a little bit over an hour, probably per child, and it won't be all done in the same day, so don't be concerned about that if you have a K2 student, but it will take a little time. While that's going on, though, the teacher's still teaching the rest of her class, because only a percentage of the class will be going through the assessment at one time. So it's not going to be dead instruction time. Parts of the group still can do small group instruction during that time, at least the way we have it designed. In some schools, they don't have as many assistants as we do. Teachers are administering them all themselves, and it would take a long time to do it, because the teacher would have to do it or the assistant would have to do it, and then the rest of the kids are kind of just working on a task. We're not doing it that way. So in K2, obviously, is going to be the most time-consuming, but the way we're doing it hopefully is going to expedite the process in K2, but that's new. And this is all tied into the evaluation process that's going to be rolled out not next year, but actually in 2 school years. At least that's the proposed plan right now. And Miss Lennon can probably share more about that. She's been more into the inner workings of it. But basically, and I've shared this before, the example we've been given by Dr. Gorman is a window pane, and there's going to be 4 quadrants probably. Right now we know 2 of the 4 quadrants. We know the new teacher evaluation process, which is done by all teachers in the state of North Carolina. And that's a rubric that we have to follow. That's the evaluation that they get every year. And then this value-added piece, which is coming out. And one thing I do ask you to do, we only had about 6 people come to the thing that we had after school. We had a webinar last Wednesday, which was fine. The timing wasn't great. It's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But there is a link that your teachers have, and I hope so. They're going to be sending it to you. I've asked them to, but if you don't receive the link, please ask your teacher, because you can access it from home and look at the link. And it's a webinar, and it kind of goes through, one, why we're doing summatives from Dr. Gorman, and a little bit about value added and the purpose of all of what they're doing. And then there's a good FAQ Q&A at the end you can listen to if you choose to, but it may ask some questions that you hadn't thought about that kind of will spark some thoughts, because it seems to be system-wide a pretty big thing. We haven't had it as elevated here as I think some schools have. I'm not sure if that's because people aren't really sure what it is or what, but it has caused some concerns in other places, so I think that it will be really important for you to kind of view and take a look at it, because it will give you some more insight into that process. Questions about the summatives at all? All right. Other things going on is, we've recently had a fire in our school community where one of our family's houses burnt down. We did share information with the PTO about that, and our staff, and a lot of items have come in already. We've actually asked people to stop for the time being. You get to the point where you're trying to do a good thing and support a family, and it ends up being more of a stressor on them. They actually sent a thank you to us last night that I forwarded to my staff and the PTO and the school leadership team, just basically thanking the school community for all that they've already done. They are living with family friends. They are from Brazil, but 2 families came over together, so right now they are actually staying with another family. They've received clothing, toys, between here and their son's daycare and the church. They have gotten a great deal already, so they were very thankful for that, so I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that as well. So thank you for those that email me to ask about involvement and different things. I thank you for that. We've gotten a lot of gift cards and a lot of clothes. It was amazing in just a very brief period of time. I think that there's still going to be some kind of event in the community. We're not involved in that event. They may be using our site though. I know that there are some groups in the neighborhood that are trying to have some sort of a kind of a carnival type thing, that it'll be a fundraiser for all the families that were involved, not just the Ferrantes, but all the families. And I think they're asking to do it here at our school, and I've told them they're welcome to do that, but there'll probably bounce houses and different things like that, almost like a carnival type thing. That may be coming. Information should be coming out too. I think the tentative date is April 30th. I think it's that weekend of April 30th. So it's be the week after we come back from spring break. But that's the plan as of right now. And the person that has been communicating with me is Kelly Dawes. She is actually from the neighborhood. She's a local real estate person from the community. So she's one of the ones that has been communicating with me. Her son had gone to school here, so I think that's why maybe she made the connection with me. So that is another thing I wanted to make everyone aware about. The last thing is kind of a pat on the back to the arts program, and actually to one of our students. We just found out this week that Leslie Bossy, and I didn't realize the mom was going to be here, but Leslie was chosen to be a part of a really cool art exhibit in Washington, D.C. And it is I read the actual letter last night, and I was just kind of like, wow. It basically goes throughout the country, and it picks arts programs, and work is brought in, and her work is actually going to be exhibited in Washington, D.C. And Leslie, the neat part about it even more, is Leslie's going to actually get the opportunity to go and visit, and they're going to visit Washington Square, and it goes through a whole process. And Miss Doolin's hoping to go as well. I think what it really does is emphasize our arts program, and then we talk about the well-balanced school and trying to make sure that your special area programs are just as strong as your core classrooms. I think it really emphasizes that point and the importance of the arts. So that is something really cool that we just found out as well. So congratulations to her. I went in and talked to her yesterday. Other neat things going on in 5th grade. We had a Davidson professor here yesterday working on, and I don't even know what it is. How do I pronounce it? Fibonacci. I wanted to say Fibonacci. Fibonacci math with 5th grade. He came in and was doing that with them and actually teaching them how to manipulate numbers in one of our higher level math classes, and actually had a design. And he actually brought up the, I don't know if you know busking, which is kind of like when they go, they're going to start doing it more downtown, but where they come and do magic and different things, and he was showing how you can do it with numbers. And how you can actually manipulate numbers and different things. So it was a neat activity for our kids to do in 5th grade. And that's part of something that Jill Thompson has started to do with Davidson College. We're really starting to get a lot of connections between our science and math programs at Davidson. They've been looking for a place to come, and we have made a connection with them. And they are helping us in a lot of different areas. They're helping us with coming into our classes. They're also helping us. We're building a nature trail in the back with the Girl Scouts. Ms. Kabuka's daughter's involved in that, where they came on Saturday and helped clear out that area, but Davidson College is going to come in and actually label some of the plants and different things that are in there as well. So they're going to be involved in a lot of different ways in that, so we're real excited about that partnership with them. This Thursday also we have our charity basketball game. That'll be Thursday night. The doors open at 6 o'clock. The game will start at 6:30. It's just a fun family event. There's no cost. We do have, you can give donations, and all the proceeds will go to the Ada Jenkins Center in Davidson. But it's just a fun family event. Our choir will be performing. We'll have cheerleaders from our Fit Kids program that will be performing. And then our faculty will be playing against Davidson in a charity basketball game at Davidson College. So that's an exciting thing that's going on as well. So that's really all I have. At this point, I'll kind of open it up. If you have questions for Ms. Lennon, please feel free to ask. If you have questions for me, I'll be happy to answer those as well. Just kind of our normal format. So anything at this time? Yes?
Can we get some of that good stuff in the paper?
Yeah, you know, we've been really struggling with that because, you know, we do send things in. In fact, we've been sending a lot in. I'm going to have to figure out how to get it in because it drives me crazy too. It really does. Yeah, it drives me nuts. Okay.
They have a new school reporter at the Citizen.
Okay.
There's a new school reporter actually at both papers.
Okay. It's not really more counseling.
No, somebody named Lee Sullivan has been emailing me from the Citizen,
Okay.
and then from the Herald, Christina Rogers is actually now working on the Cornelius.net spinoff of DavidsonNews.net. She was the education reporter for the Herald, and so now it is someone named Tori Hanby, or Hamby. She just started about 2 weeks ago.
And
so
we did have something on Cornelius.net. And the one thing I did forget, and I don't want to miss out, was we had a great play on Friday night. Our drama club performed at Huff High School Friday night, and it was sold out. It wasn't really sold out, but it was filled. They did a great job. Sound wasn't that great. I wish they would have had better audio, but the kids did a great job. Just kind of reminds you when you go back and how mortified I was to speak in front of my peers, let alone 300 other people. And they did a really good job of, you know, being poised and mature and doing well up on stage. So that was another great event. But that actually was in the Cornelius.net online newspaper.
You might want to put that in your Friday newsletter. Just here's a nice
About the
thing.
site?
Yeah, about the
Cornelius,
site.
yeah, CorneliusNews.net.
Okay.
And there's a Davidson one too that tends to have the city.
The Davidson's the original, and they just spun off to Cornelius about 2 weeks ago. They actually had an official kickoff last weekend.
Okay.
So they'll be looking for local Cornelius-based stories.
Anything else right now that's burning?